Welcome. Today I want to talk about some powerful advice that I have on how to actually achieve your goals. It's a new year, it's 2023, and I think the start of a new year is a really good time to set goals. Obviously that's a common thing for people to do, and it's kind of cliche, but it makes sense, you know. We're starting a brand new year. Why not use that as a reason to set some new goals for ourselves? Having that as a habit makes it so that at the start of each new year, you can kind of look back on your goals from the past year and see how far you've come, see how much you've accomplished, and then set new goals that you have for yourself going into this new era. So that's what I like to do. I've done that for the past 3 years now, and it's a really powerful thing to look back and to see the progress that I've made over the past few years. I think we tend to just go about life and not really think about progress that we're making, not really think about things that we're accomplishing, because we're living our lives and it's not something we commonly do to take a step back and look at our lives from an outside perspective. So it's really important and really valuable, in my opinion, to have this habit of setting goals at the start of a new year and using that as a way to kind of track how far we come and how much we actually evolve over the course of a year. When it comes to setting goals, it can be kind of hard to know where to start, and I think a really good starting point is to determine what it is that you want. A lot of people don't really think about what they want in life, and they just go through the motions, and therefore they don't get what they want because they're not even thinking about it. Once you have your list of the things that you want to achieve or attain in the year, you then would want to define and describe those things. So, for example, I could set a goal that is, I want to make money off of YouTube. And then I would need to take it a step further and describe how much money I want to make and how many followers I need to have in order to make that money. So the point is to make your goals well defined, because the more defined your goals are, the more your brain knows what you're working towards and what you need to achieve in order to get to that point, and you therefore have a higher success rate. After you define your goals, you're going to want to create an action plan for each of them, because it's one thing to have a list of goals and even well-defined goals, but that doesn't take you very far. You need to know which steps you're going to need to take daily, weekly, whatever it is, in order to actually move closer to those goals. And I think the absence of this step is the reason why a lot of people set goals and then they kind of just sit there on a piece of paper and the person never actually gets closer to achieving them, because they didn't outline what they actually need to do to achieve those goals. So going off of my example of making money off of YouTube, if I had that as a goal, some action steps would be to come up with video ideas every week, film a video every week, make time to edit every week, post, respond to comments. So all these different steps that I can take on a daily or weekly basis in order to actually be moving towards the goal that I originally set. And it's actually beneficial to focus more so on those action steps and on the systems that you're creating for yourself versus focusing solely on the goals, because the goals really represent what you want to attain. Like how I set my goals is I would like to have attained these things by the time the year is done, by the time 2023 is over. So that's something to keep in mind and something that drives me, but what actually is going to bring me from where I am now to where I want to be at that time is the steps that I'm taking in my everyday life. So that's where the focus really should be. Our everyday routines and the way that we go about our lives is what determines whether we get to where we want to be in life and whether we accomplish what we want to accomplish. So that needs to be where our focus is at if we actually want to successfully achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves. If we really think about what we spend every day doing, we're able to then break apart how much free time we have to put towards working to our goals and what we can change about what we do in that free time that will make the difference between us actually achieving what we want to and not. And I think it's really important to be realistic when setting goals and when thinking about the steps we can take to achieve those goals, because I do this. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do the most and to make the most of my time and go hard in every single aspect, and it ends up not being so beneficial when it comes to me actually following through, because I put too much pressure on myself to just do an insane amount and it's not realistic. So I think it's important to take that into consideration and to set goals that are out there. Like, I think it's important to dream big, but to be realistic. For example, I wouldn't set a goal to be making $1 million off YouTube in a year, because I don't think that's very realistic. So I think it's important to keep that realistic aspect in mind, and that's especially important when thinking about what we do on a day-to-day basis to work towards our goals, because we're human and we only have so much energy and so much time in a day. Another important step in goal setting is to have a reason why. Life happens, obstacles arise, and things get in the way that make it harder for us to work towards our goals. There's gonna be days where it's easy to do the things we want to do and we feel like we make a ton of progress, and then there's gonna be days where it's really hard or not possible at all to put any time into working towards our goals. So I think it's important to have a reason why. Why do you want to achieve these goals? How will you feel? What will change in your life? Have a strong purpose behind wanting to achieve these things and wanting to put energy into it every single day, because that's not an easy thing to do. So having a sense of purpose for anything we do in life, but especially for something that we are having to work towards, is a very important aspect. And without it, we tend to give up much more quickly than we would if we did have a purpose and have this reasoning behind doing what we're doing. It's also super, super important to actually believe in your ability to achieve your goals. It's so common for people to not believe in themselves and not believe in their abilities, not even be aware of their abilities, and that can limit you so much in life. And that is how I used to feel, and once I changed that and started to believe in myself and to have no limits as to what I believe I can do and can achieve and can create for myself, it completely changed my life. So that is a super important aspect of setting goals. And that will make the difference between you actually achieving your goals and not achieving them. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to believe that it's possible for you to change your life and for you to get from point A to point B and to get where you see yourself and to achieve all that you desire. So that is a super important part of goal setting. And I heard this phrase in a podcast I was listening to, which is that in order to achieve goals, one must plan like an adult, but believe like a child, because children have this incredible capacity for belief and their imaginations are just so amazing, and they truly don't doubt themselves and doubt anything. Like, they will believe what they tell themselves and what you tell them. We all still have that ability within us. As we grow up in society, we're taught to believe in ourselves less and less, and so it's not really our fault that we get to a point where we don't believe that anymore, but we still have that child within us that believes in us and has no limit as to what we believe we can accomplish in this life. And it's really important to reconnect with that energy and kind of bring that into the goal setting process, because You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in your ability to achieve your goals, you're not going to achieve your goals. You determine what this life is for you, how you see things, what you believe, and what you accomplish. So believe that you can achieve your goals, and that will benefit you so much when it comes to working towards them. It's never too late to start setting goals, and I know that's one thing I don't like about the New Year's tendency for people to set goals, is that I think there's all this pressure to set goals on the 31st or on the 1st and have them all set and be ready to go and get right into it. And we put so much pressure on ourselves in relation to the fact that it's a new year and this is when you should be doing this. But you can set goals whenever. You don't need to use the new year as your time to set goals. That's what I do, and that's what works for me. But if that doesn't work for you, or if it's already further along in January and you're like, oh, well, I missed my chance to set goals, I guess I have to wait till next year. No, set goals today. It really doesn't matter when you set goals. What matters is that you are making a point to do so and taking these steps that will enable you to actually work towards them and see progress. Thank you for watching. If you use these steps outlined in this video to set your own goals, let me know in the comments how that goes for you, what your goals are, and I'll see you soon.